Valentine's Day. Today is the day of love, and I wanted to get in the car and kind of just record this video for you guys. Basically, I am going to Vanguard University, and me and my friend Gracia, we are hosting our first Valentine's Day event, and it's going to be really good. I'm really excited, and today I wanted to record a simple video and basically kind of tell you guys a little bit about my purity story. So today is going to be a drive with me, and I wanted to record this video, podcast, whatever it may be. Excited. It's been a hot minute since I have recorded. I have not done my makeup in the longest time, and the fact that I'm doing my makeup now and like, I don't know, it's just, I feel different, I feel good, it feels nice to like look nice and look good, and you guys are right here sitting next to me. I have been wanting to do a sit down drive with me video, and I feel like it's been a minute since I have kind of talk to you guys, because shout out to the last video. I still can't believe that has like 1,000 views. Like 18-year-old me is screaming that the fact that 1,000 of you guys are watching my videos, which is so crazy. But thank you so much for your support, and we're almost at 2K subscribers, which is just so crazy that 2,000 people are watching my videos, and that is so surreal. I honestly cannot believe that. So purity, how it all started. I grew up knowing God, and then after that there was a time that there was a specific service, and I was 16 years old. I was in a service, and there was a pastor that was preaching, and basically he was preaching about purity, and I don't know, something about it really marked something inside of me, because they're like, oh, you know, purity is a gift from God, you know, saving yourself from marriage, you know, all of this stuff. Like, it was just something that intrigued me, and something that I always knew, because I was like this dorky Asian little girl. Like, no man came up to me, and it was just funny. I was like, okay, whatever. So here I am, 16, sitting down in this service, and literally in the service, the pastor was like, oh, if you want to make a commitment to save yourself from marriage, you know, come up to the front, make a covenant with God, this, and this, and then go buy a purity ring. And I'm like, okay. So 16-year-old me is like, la 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 la, like, go up to the front, you know, you go up to the front, you close your eyes, you do these prayers that you're like, God, like, I'm willing to give you my whole life, I'm willing to sacrifice everything for you, and I'm willing to serve you for the rest of my life. I give myself pure and holy and set apart for you, God. And then I did it. And I bought a purity ring, I bought a ring, and I just made that decision. And so moving on, obviously, we're girls. Of course we're gonna have crushes. We're girls. Of course we're gonna like beautiful men. Like, obviously. So I am a normal human, and over the years I have had my fair share of crushes, and if you know me personally, you know that they're all in here. Why am I exposing myself like this? Anyways, that's a whole let's not talk about that. Anyways, so long story short, the way that God has always been with me, and basically my best friend told me this once. She was like, Abby, it's so crazy how God has saved you from so much, and he has literally taken away men that have tried to come to you, well, boys at that time, because, you know, now we're older and wiser, and now there's men, but boys before would like try to come up to me, and they would be like, actually, not even like 18, not really, 19, I liked someone, it didn't work out, 20 years old. I feel like it's just like a repetitive situation that I would like someone And then I would make up, like, I don't know if you girls or guys relate to this, but you would make up this whole situation in your head. You're like, oh, because like I saw him at church, you know, and he looked at me, that means he likes me. No, boo, like, talk to this person, talk to them. So did that, went through this whole, like, I like you, you don't like me, whatever, rejection, whatever. And then there were some phases where, like, someone would come up to me and they would be like, oh, like, I like you, I want to get to know you, blah, blah, blah. And then I prayed about it, and I was like, God, you know, like, if it's the will for you, like, for this person to be in my life, you know, keep him, but if it's not, take him away, right? So, kid you not, literally after people were like, oh, I want to get to know you, this is like two separate instances. They're like, oh, I want to get to know you, this and this, and I'm like, okay, like, even like the slightest thought to like think about something was gonna happen, they end up moving. They're like, oh, I have to move to here, or I have to move there, or I'm in this job and I can't commit, or whatever. And I'm like, like, the thing about me is that God just genuinely took men out of my life. Like, out of my life, and it was just not even a struggle. My first relationship, and then, yeah. So then I just made a commitment to be pure and to, like, save myself from marriage and things like that. And then I remember when I came to LA, I remember having a conversation with someone, and then they were like, oh, because I had this big thing that I was like, oh, you know, there's like one person for you, the one, like, there's this one guy that God has separated for you, and like, it's amazing, you know, this and this. And I remember I had a conversation with someone, and they were like, Abby, you know, it's not illegal to go on coffee dates, it's not illegal to get to know someone, you know, like, you're not anything, just don't, like, play with fire, if that makes sense. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, you know. So I kind of had to shift my mentality to being like, oh, if you do this, you're going to, like, I don't know, if you do this, like, it's a sin, you know, or whatever. And honestly, like, I was so sheltered growing up that no one ever taught me, like, what is supposed to happen or what is not. So then a little bit after that, that happens. I moved to LA, and then honestly, it's been a wild ride. I just think that for me, I feel like the Holy Spirit has always guarded me when it comes to love, and when it comes to people, and it comes to relationships. And I think that purity is so beautiful, you know, because being here in LA, like, you see things, you see people, and you feel different, you know. There are times where I'm in places where I just genuinely feel different, that, you know, I'm like, oh, you know, like, oh, you're pure, you're innocent, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I am for God. You know, I decided when I was 16 to stand up for myself and to make that decision to stay pure for God. Purity is such a beautiful thing, because it's not only, purity isn't something that you, like, write on a t-shirt and you do this and you do that. Purity is a movement, you know, like, purity is something that I stand for, and I want to fight for it, if that makes sense. And I feel like here at 29, that they're like, oh, you're 29 and you're this and you're that and whatever, like, it's different, you know, it hits different because you're surrounded by people and places and things where the culture maybe isn't the same. But I feel like my whole life I've always been different. I've always been set apart, I've always been marked, I've always been consecrated, and I never really understood that until being in situations where maybe I didn't know what certain things meant, or I didn't know this or that, and I feel like I'm like, Purity rocks. No. I just feel like God separated me, and he separated you, you know? And I feel like I just want to make this video to encourage you guys. Like, if you're in a place where maybe everyone is, you know, because nowadays everyone is having sex, everyone is doing things, everyone, you know, losing their stuff, and maybe you don't feel like it. Like, maybe you're 16 and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, but like you're being pressured by a friend to do it. Or maybe you're 29, 30 and you haven't found your person and you just want to go on dates and stuff. Like, I feel like it's gonna be worth the wait, you know? Like, I feel like at the end of the day, purity is a decision. And I know I'm rambling a lot and I'm going off the rails a little bit, but for me, purity was a decision that I made years ago when I was younger. And I was like, you know what? I decide that I'm willing to save myself. And no matter what happens, no matter who comes my way, no matter who, what, where, when, and why, like, I am going to decide to do that. And I feel like purity is a movement. You know, purity is a movement, purity is a decision, and purity is basically being consecrated, set apart, holiness for God. You know, and no matter what happens, no matter who happens, or how things may feel, like, I just want to encourage you guys to know that you're not alone. To encourage you guys that, like, if there are situations and that you're in places where you may be uncomfortable or things like that, I want to encourage you to know that if you're feeling different and you feel like, I was explaining to a friend that when I talk about purity and stuff, that I feel like it's like a room full of darkness, and then it's like that one light on me, because it like, you feel like you stand out of the crowd, you feel like different. And it's not like, ooh, yeah, I'm different, I'm set apart, because growing up in church, I was in church my whole life. Like, I was in King Jesus pretty much all my life, and then coming here to LA, I'm in different places. Like, I'm not working at church, I'm working at Chick-fil-A, and I'm working at different places, and a lot of mentalities aren't the same, and that's okay, you know? But I feel like at this point in my life, I will not compromise my values, compromise who God has me for, you know? And that's why I made Purity Movement, you know? That's why I did this Finding Yourself process. That's why I did Purity Movement. That's why I did all of this stuff. It's to really show that purity is cool, you know? Like, I feel like we're here to bring purity back. And yeah, so I just want to encourage you guys, if you feel alone and you feel set apart and you feel consecrated and you don't like it, and you're like, man, like, why do I feel like this? Like, why am I like this? Like, I'm alone. No, you're not. You're not alone. Like, this is a movement. Like, this is purity movement. This is a movement where God has set you apart, where you are consecrated, where you are a child of God. And you have to remember that no matter if people try to come to you and try to taint your values and your morals, you have to stand strong. And I feel like God is so beautiful in the fact that he saved me from so many things and so many things. And yeah, so that is basically that. And how I started Purity Movement is I was basically at a service, and it was a Tuesday service, and basically the pastor apostle was preaching, and he was talking about like God was going to give you a lot of business ideas and this and this. And then he basically was like, close your eyes and write down 10 business ideas. And I remember I closed my eyes, and then I saw a podcast, I saw my YouTube channel, I saw live films, like my business, and I saw Purity Movement. And I was like, Purity Movement? Like, what? You know, and the thing is that I've always wanted to start like clothing or things like that. And I'm not saying like I'm here to start a brand, because brands are scary and content is very scary, and like doing all like brand, like my friend has like his Jesus Freak apparel, like my other friend has Endeavor, you know, like those are brands. I wanted to start a movement, and I've always wanted to have like merch or like something that I could do as like a passion project other than video creating and like things like that, something that I can put like energy and stuff to. And I remember when God put Purity Movement in my heart, I was like, how? And basically God was like, it has something that you really strongly believe in, which is purity. And then I remember looking on Instagram, like for inspo, and then I saw like the watch brand, like MVMT Movement. I saw that brand, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then I instantly was like, oh my goodness, what if I do Purity Movement? And I just thought of the name, like Purity MVMT, but I didn't think of it as a movement. I just thought of it as like, oh, Purity Movement, like it's like Purity Movement. But then the craziest thing is that it's a movement, and something that my friend was telling me, my friend Grace, says, she was like, Abby, like Purity Movement is a movement, like it's something that is going to catapult into something really big, and you're going to be able to bring light to this topic that maybe a lot of people don't talk about, like to young girls or like older girls or people, guys that are fighting for that, because these are topics that people don't really talk about. And yeah, so, and I feel like when I was talking to my friend's mom, she was basically telling me, she's like, look, the enemy hates what you stand for, and the enemy hates who you are, like that you represent God, you represent purity, that you represent this, and he's gonna try to attack in every single way that he can and do. But you have to stand firm. You have to stand firm in your word, and you have to stand firm in what God has said for you years ago. And for me, even though like things can get blurry and things can get weird, but at the end of the day, I made a decision when I was 16 years old to save myself from marriage. And I'm not saying, oh, because like if you have sex you're going to hell. Like, no, like that's not what I'm saying. Like if you did it, then okay, like it is what it is, you know. But like I don't know, for me it was something that I made a promise and a vow to God. And I feel like when it comes to marriage and when it comes to something like that, it's gonna be so beautiful. And yeah, never compromise your value, never compromise who you are as a person, never compromise that, you know. And I just want to encourage you guys on this day of love that God is going to bring someone your way, you know, whether it's someone like a guy, you know, a girl, like whoever you're looking for, like a guy for girl, girl for guy, whatever. Like I feel like stay strong, you know, and take this video as encouragement, as to make a commitment to God, you know, to be pure again, you know, like to make purity cool, to make it a movement, to be like, you know what, I decide that I will walk in this movement, you know, I decide that even if you fell, okay, I will go into celibacy, you know, like, or things like that. But it's just like, God is God, you know. And I feel like many of us are just going through a lot, and I feel God just wants to encounter you guys where you are at. I feel the presence of God. I feel like I want to cry. But I just want to encourage you guys that, like, even if you feel alone, you know, even if you feel lonely, even if, like, no person will match up to, like, your ex or who you, or another person or whatever, or if someone comes your way and they're pretty much perfect on paper, but they're not for you, just know that God has someone for you. God has someone for you, and He has someone for me. And when you know, you know. So, yeah, that is basically my purity story. That's basically how Purity Movement started. It started through just an encounter with God, and God showing me purity, and God just like telling me a decision to be like, you know what, I'm willing to be set apart, I'm willing to be consecrated. And I remember I was talking to my old coworker, she's a designer, and I was like, oh, I want to do Purity Movement, but I don't know what to do. And she was like, why don't you look up, because I was like, purity, like pure, like 100% pure, like it was like cringe back then. And then she was like, why don't you look up words that are pure, you know, like the source words of pure. And I looked it up, and then that's how it started. Like that's how Consecrated, Set Apart series came about. That's how the Child of God came about, because I always say in my video, you, my friend, are a child of God, you know. And that's how that started, and I just think it's beautiful. And then that's how the Mark series happened, because I remember that I was in church and I was in service, and literally, Remnant Conference, and I was there, and I was always marked, you know. Everyone was like, wow, you know, I'm so marked by this, like marked by God, marked for revival, marked for this, marked by God, you know, like we're always marked. And then Set Apart was like, you are set apart. You're set apart, you're consecrated for God, like how, like in the Bible, that they were like, I have appointed you for nations, that I have set you apart. And I'm like, wow, you know. And then now this whole Finding Yourself series, which is very essential, like inspired, obviously, this one is more personal for me, because it's all about finding who you are and finding yourself, Purity Movement, purity, find yourself, like it's all about that. And I just wanted to create something that was very minimalistic and something that I was very passionate about, and I honestly love it. It is so comfortable. I'm wearing this and the sweatpants right now. It's super comfy. It's really aesthetic. Like, I think it's really cute. Like, I love the aesthetic. I love the colors. I like that it's like black, brown, beige, blue, like the little set that you can wear. I'm a big set girly. So that is basically that. If you want to support me and support the movement, I would love that. And I just wanted to share the heart of it. Like, this is not like, oh, for you to buy my merch. No, like, this is just, I just felt from God. I was telling Grace on the phone earlier, I was like, I want to drive, and I just want to talk about purity and see what happens, and see what I end up talking about and what ends up happening. And look at God, you know, God is Godding, right? So that is basically my purity story, a little more updated. I feel like God has a lot for you guys, and I want to encourage you guys that if you guys feel like you want to make that decision to save yourself for marriage, like, do it, you know. And if not, then that's okay, you know. I just feel like I just want to bring back that topic of purity, because nowadays, like, people see, like, sex and everything so different as an exchange and stuff like that. But I don't know, for me, like, I know that it's going to be really beautiful in marriage, and that God, in the right timing, it's going to happen. So I just want to encourage you guys to stay strong. Even though there are beautiful people out there, stay strong, my friend, and link to Purity Movement Collection. And basically it's an Etsy shop, and you guys can shop there. You can shop this, you can shop the blue set, you can shop the brown, you can shop any of it at all, and just support your girl and be comfy and get a set, buy one for a friend. And yeah, this is more than just a clothing line. This is more than just a clothing line, or just like, let me sell something to you. This is a movement, and I love it, and I'm grateful for it. So I hope you guys like this and support your girl. So I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys like it, give it a big thumbs up, like and subscribe to my channel, follow me on social media, being linked down below. If you guys like this podcast, rate it 5 stars. If you guys like this podcast, rate it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, etc. And if you guys want, follow Purity Movement everywhere, and all my tags and social media will be linked down below. So I love you guys, and I will see you guys in my next video. So let me know what topics you guys want me to talk about. I really do miss driving, and I do miss talking to you guys. So I just wanted to, I had my makeup done for today, so I'm like, you know what, like, I want to film a video. Literally the audio's on my phone, so sorry if the audio's not the best, but I literally have my Rode mic, but